the next topic is getting skills and knowledge you need to meet challenging FM demands. Randy Olson is the Vice President of Business Development with ProFMI, and he'll deliver this presentation. Randy, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, Amy, and we appreciate the invite to back to the democast to talk about ProFM. So what I'd like to do is kind of lay out the path forward here for today. And where I'm going to start with our democast today is I'd like to kind of talk about a few data points from an annual survey that we do in partnership with FacilitiesNet that help tell the story about the importance and the critical nature of credentials and education. So we'll start there, and then I'm going to dig into how to get the ProFM. We'll look at the platform a little bit, the interface and the learning path through the program. We'll talk about a special offer, and as Amy mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, get your questions in. We'll take as many as we can as we go. So we've got a lot to fit into 20 minutes. If we don't get to your questions during the session today, we'll follow up directly with you and answer those questions. So with that, I'd like to start with, as I alluded to in the front end here, this annual survey that we do. So annually, we do a training outlook survey that talks to the broader facility management market globally and helps us understand, kind of trends for employment, trends for training, and kind of critical things that are going on in the industry. And this year, the survey really bubbled up with kind of three key things. That first of all, people are looking to move. So as most of you are probably aware, we're in this great resignation or a great reorganization or whatever, great reassignment or whatever it's being called this week. And, people are moving around. And folks that are qualified and are trained are really hard to find. So with that, what's keeping people there? So what are the critical things that keep people at a current position? And then also what employers are doing is hiring potential and then coaching them up. So hiring, people that are really bright, giving them the appropriate training, the credentials to achieve and deliver the credibility and solutions they need to for their constituencies. So when we look at key benefits from that FM training survey, from a management perspective, and a little bit of color here, what we do is we ask the managers on behalf of themselves. So why do I seek education and training? Managers on behalf of their staff, and then their staff. And what managers say is, the benefits are better job performance, but more importantly, probably increased confidence and credibility. From an employee standpoint or from a staff perspective, increase that confidence, increase that credibility, looking to advance in your career and then perform better on the job. So there is alignment between the managers and employees of kind of key benefits of FM training. So back to my point earlier, from the survey, employers saying, we look for potential, we look for great people, and then we look to coach them up. So provide the resources needed, the training needed to effectively, deliver the solutions they need to deliver. So key data points from that survey. So 79% of employers are struggling to find skilled talent. So, almost 8 out of 10. Folks are saying, I can't find those people. So let's find those folks with potential and let's coach them up. And then next, 66% of your staffs have considered leaving or have left a position in the past year. Now that's a little bit of alarming stat. So if you think about the cost associated with bringing somebody on, get them trained up, all the onboarding, the potential to lose almost 7 out of 10 of your people is alarming. So when looking at why people would stay with their current employer, the top three factors are, this is probably no surprise to anybody on this democast, but increased compensation or benefits. But number two, opportunities for professional development and training. So if you invest back in those folks, they're more likely to stay with you. And then kind of in conjunction with that, when you coach them up, when you provide that training and development, then there's opportunity for them to advance within your organization. So providing those opportunities for folks to elevate in their career within your organization are key. So those are the top three influencing factors for folks to stay with their current employer. Remembering now that 66% of your staff have considered leaving within the past year. So there is no better time, we believe, for you to invest back in your staff than right now. 77% of FM managers say a credential or qualification is an influential factor in hiring or promoting FM staff. So almost 8 out of 10 say if somebody's got that education, if they've got that credential or qualification, I would look to promote them before folks that don't. And then the last stat that I'll share with you is 82% of staff would pursue a credential if their employer provided financial support to do so. So again, back to my earlier comment, there's no better time, given the current environment that we're in, given what facility managers have to deliver on a daily basis, to get your folks through an education and credential program. So what I'd like to do now then is dig into the program itself and talk about the basis of the program, talk about what's included in the program, and then just do a quick walkthrough of how you would proceed through the program and through the platform. So the program itself is based on a body of knowledge, and this body of knowledge defines the knowledge, skills, and abilities that you need to be a successful and excellent facility manager today and into the future. And the way this was put together was through a small group, a team of experts, starting with a blank sheet of paper to define the functional knowledge areas and the cross-functional competencies needed and required for facility managers. And then taking that draft body of knowledge and going out to tens of thousands of global facility managers to understand if this is what they do on a daily basis. And the result of that is this body of knowledge. And this body of knowledge is broken into 4 functional FM knowledge areas of risk management, business management, operations and maintenance, and asset management. Within each one of those functional FM knowledge areas, there's 4 to 6 topics. So these are, if you will, really the technical skills required for facility managers today and into the future. And then at the left of the screen there, you'll see 5 what we call cross-functional competencies. Think of these as soft skills and things that need to be considered and need to deliver on each time you deliver a technical solution. And those are communication, sustainability, quality, innovation, and collaboration. And again, those are threaded across all of those functional FM knowledge areas. In almost every case, as you're aware, when you're delivering a solution, none of these things typically stand alone. So many things factor in. So this program is delivered as an integrated product, a holistic product that considers not only knowledge, but then how do you apply that knowledge? Overwhelmingly from the market, from the industry, we were told when you're building this product, please build it with the not only what you know, but how you apply it to real world scenarios. So in the program, there's three pieces or 3 parts to the program that are integrated together to deliver this complete system. The first of that is reading materials. So if you think back to the body of knowledge, there were 4 functional knowledge areas, and then there were the cross-functional competencies. So there's a module or a book, if you will. There's reading materials for each one of those 5 areas. Those reading materials are delivered electronically through our platform, through an embedded e-reader. Optionally, you can get those in print as well. Incidentally, about 80% of folks that consume this program get the print. but you have your choice of how you want to consume that. There's about 1,200 pages of content here that covers, comprehensively each one of those topic areas within each functional area and each one of those cross-functional competencies. Second then, and I'm going to walk you through this here in a little bit, is a set of online study tools. So the reading materials are embedded in those online study tools, but in addition to that, there's a whole suite of enhancing tools that help you systematically and in a logical fashion walk through the program. So there's things like flip cards and flashcards and progress checks along the way. Again, I'll revisit this here in a minute. And then the third component is, how do I assess then? How do I kind of prove out, how am I validated against learning this knowledge and being able to apply that knowledge? And those final assessments are delivered in the same platform as those online study tools. So everything you need is delivered here within this comprehensive tool. So it's an all-in-one program. So what I'd like to do then next is just give you a view into what that platform looks like. So as I mentioned, it's all included here. And as you log into the program, you're presented with, kind of three things through that path. And the first is assess. Second would be study. So gain that knowledge, being able to then systematically apply that knowledge. And then third, pass the exam and achieve the credential. So let's walk through kind of each one of those areas. So the first piece of that is assess your knowledge. So when we talk about assessment, we're saying come in and understand your baseline for each one of those functional knowledge areas and each one of those cross-functional competencies. So this is a pretest, if you will, that gives you a score in each one of those areas. Those scores are important because out of that, then you're going to create a study plan or a study path through the program. So based on how you scored on that pretest and your self-assessment, your kind of where you think you stand today, this will help you map out a systematic approach to getting through the program. So it breaks it down into little bite-sized chunks. I need to spend this amount of time on this area and work through the program in a systematic way. So it's very, you don't have to kind of eat the elephant with one bite. There's bite-sized chunks along the way. You can, again, systematically go through the program. So that's where you would start through the platform. Next, then, I'm going to get in and study. So there's several study tools available. I'm going to do the reading, go through the reading, understand and start building that knowledge through those reading materials. That looks like this within the platform. So as I'm walking through, I can gain that knowledge, read the material. I can mark things along the way. Again, this is offered both electronically and in print fashion through the optional print. And then as I'm walking through, I can check my comprehension and retention along the way. So there's checkpoints at the end of each one of the chapters. So there's end of chapter quizzes that helps me gain the knowledge with instantaneous feedback and rationale as I'm answering those questions. So I make sure that I'm gaining the knowledge and retaining along the way to prepare for kind of that next step. As I mentioned, along with these checkpoints along the way, there's flip cards or flashcards that can be downloaded to your mobile device. Those are all sized appropriately. The reading materials can also be accessed via your mobile device with the appropriate sizing to consume that there. There's a comprehensive glossary of terms. There's examples along the way, along with these quizzes as I'm proceeding through the program. So then the last component to the program is I'm going to then prove out my knowledge. And we've broken the exam into pure knowledge recall. There's 75 knowledge-based multiple choice questions, and then taking that knowledge and applying it to situational-based multiple choice questions. So not only understanding what I know, but how I apply it. Upon completion of that, you earn the ProFM credential. So there's no additional application fee associated with that, but it does have a 3-year term of validity. So during that 3 years, you'll gain additional professional development units through attending things through FacilitiesNet and NFMT, through other conferences, other training you might do, through speaking, through presenting, through writing, those types of things. We believe it's important to stay current on the knowledge and stay relevant on the knowledge. So, quick walk through the program. What I'd like to do, so once you achieve, this is an example of the certificate that you get that can be proudly displayed on your wall. We also deliver badging associated with this that you can post on LinkedIn and make sure that your employer knows that you've achieved this designation. So there's multiple ways to get through the program. So I've talked about all the components. I've done a walk through the platform. And then we've got learning options that support the way you best learn. First would be, peer self-study. So I'm a disciplined individual that can walk myself through, use that study plan and get myself through in that way. So you get the reading materials, you get the online tools and access to those final assessments, and in your self-paced way you go through. The next step to that then is if you need a little bit of coaching along the way, we have this coach self-study option. So the self-study materials along with with coaching. That coaching is 7 online instructor-led Q&A sessions. So I cover a little bit of content, but gives you a lifeline into that expert instructor to be able to ask questions along the way. And it really helps support accountability. So, I know that I need to get through this material by the next time and form my questions for the group as I go. It's a great networking opportunity as well. And then the third option is a complete instructor-led option. So typically through partners, we have partners that deliver this it's typically a virtual-led classroom these days. But it takes the same materials. No matter how you go through, you always get the same materials. But then this is now going through each component of the program in a classroom instructor-led format, which provides the opportunity for enhanced networking, gives you access to that expert instructor, and it gives you the opportunity to discuss things with your peers because there's typically several years of experience in that room. So quick walkthrough of kind of the why here, the platform, how you might go through that to best fit your learning option. And then I would like to, before we open it up to questions, just talk about an offer that we've got in partnership with FacilitiesNet and their FM Prime program. So if you join up to FM Prime or you're a FM Prime member, if you join on an annual basis, you get $300 off the ProFM Credential Program. And that's valid through the end of the month here. There's a link at the bottom of the screen that provides a link to that option if you would like that. And ProFMI.org, I've covered a lot of information in a short period of time. ProFMI.org is the chance to go get additional resources. There's a Map Your Gap there to compare your knowledge against the current ProFM body of knowledge. The survey that I talked about early in the presentation today is available for full download. So you can get the full report there. And then if you want to do some practice questions, there's 10 of those available, along with a whole host of other resources available. So I've flown through this. I'm expecting there's a couple of questions. Again, if we didn't get those questions answered today, we'll happily do that and follow up with you. Contact information is here, ProFM at ProFMI.org. That question or comment will get to me, or call our customer service group. And Amy, I'm going to turn it back to you. So I think we're up on time.
For a great presentation. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A area on the bottom of your screen. Type those in. We'll get through a few of those. Randy, I know a lot of certifications, credentials, it is a separate fee to take that assessment, and you have to schedule that and go to a certain place. Can you talk about how the assessment works in ProFM?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So, as I mentioned, the everything is delivered as an integrated all-in-one solution. So those reading materials, the online study tools, so that platform, and the final assessments are all delivered within the platform. So those are on demand, and you can take those when it fits your time, so you don't have to schedule. And if for some reason you're not successful the first time through, you can retake that as many times as needed to get through and make sure you validate your knowledge and your competency against that ProFM body knowledge.
Perfect. We have a question on the difference between ProFM and FMP.
Yeah, great question. So similar in how they're delivered. However, the FMP covers four of the knowledge areas, if you will. So it's very narrow in its approach. ProFM covers everything. So we got strong feedback from the market when we went out to the market to ask about, kind of all those functional areas and the cross-functional competencies. Strong feedback that we should deliver an all-in-one program. So everything that the FM needs to know delivered in one program. So it's not, you don't have to take 3, you don't have to take 5, you don't have to take 8 courses. It's all delivered in one.
Perfect. And then, Randy, how long would you have access to that once you purchase?
Yeah, once you purchase and you get into the program, you have 12 months of access. And that's typically enough time to get through that. Again, so we have 12 months and you have multiple attempts at that final assessment.
Perfect. And then can you talk a little bit about the difference between the coach self-study from the regular self-study? A little bit more information on that?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Great question. So we created Coached to provide a lifeline into instructors and provide a network of people that are going through this together. So with Coached, you have 7 online sessions that are an hour to an hour and a half in length. So you'll have a kickoff on kind of getting you going in the program, and then the first will be kind of a walkthrough of Module 1 at a pretty high level, but you'll be assigned kind of a reading task in those couple of weeks. So they occur about every 2 weeks, and through that hour and a half, you have the ability to ask the instructor questions about things you might not understand, but also gain some knowledge from the rest of the group. And you then develop a cohort and a team that's kind of going through this together. So each one of those 5 modules is covered with a intro at the beginning and a kind of test-taking tips at the end. And then the encouragement is, now go take the exams. Go take the exams, and while everything's fresh in your mind, and go pass. So it's a great option for folks that are kind of time constrained, but also need to be kind of held accountable along the way.
Perfect. And then somebody's asking the question on CE requirements. How many hours over the 3 years you needed to research?
Yeah, so the number of credits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 45 professional development units over that 3-year period of time. And that is accumulated through training through FacilitiesNet, attending NFMT. That happens in Baltimore in the spring. And this year it's Vegas on November 2nd and 3rd. Highly recommend those conferences, very valuable. And then writing, speaking, working in the profession, running a project. So there's several ways to accumulate those credits. But again, we firmly believe that it's important to stay relevant and current on that knowledge.
Perfect. And then, Randy, if there's a team that wants to get involved, I think you had on the screen that there's some discounts available for multiple individuals. There
is, yeah, for 2 or more. So there's some nice good discounting available for 2 or more. And in addition, if they're FM Prime members, you can stack that discount. So we would honor the $300 off and then the group discount from there. So provide a significant savings through the end of July. So it's a great opportunity.
Perfect. And are there payment plans available?
There is payment. So we, through our e-commerce site, we have the ability to use PayPal credit and spread those payments out over at least 6 months.
Perfect. I think that wraps up the questions that we have. Randy, any final thoughts you'd like to give to the audience?
I'll reiterate again, the time is now. It's the perfect time to train your team. And this program is a great program to do so. Check out our site, profmi.org, for testimonials, for video, for additional information about the program. And Amy and Paul and team at FacilitiesNet, thanks so much for having us.